The Lives of the Saints by Father Alban Butler, October 25th. Blessed Thaddius McCarthy, Bishop of Ross, Cork and Cloyne. We know very little about the youth of Thaddeus, who was the only Irishman raised to the honor of the altars during the period between the canonization of Lorcan O'Toole, 1228, and the beatification of Oliver Plunkett, 1920. He belonged to the royal family of the MacCarthys. He was born in the region of Munster, now known by the name of Desmond. His father was Lord of Muskerry, and his mother was the daughter of Fitzmaurice, Lord of Kerry. The name Thaddeus was very common in the family for 7 centuries. It is said that the Blessed made his first studies under the direction of the Friars Minor of Kerry. Afterwards he went abroad. It seems that he was in Rome in 1482, he was then 27 years old, when Pope Sixtus IV appointed him Bishop of Rowe. Years later, when Henry Tudor began to rule the 3 kingdoms, the Yorkist Geraldines decided to impose their own candidate on the silk of Ross. Since the Pope had appointed Blessed Thaddeus bishop, Hugo O'Driscoll was dissatisfied. The enemies of Thaddeus alleged that the latter had obtained from the pontiff the episcopal dignity by deceit. They also accused him of other crimes. The Count of Desmond took possession of the revenues of the see, and the bishop had to take refuge in a Cistercian abbey near Parma, which the Bishop of Clogher had given him in commendam. The machinations of the Fitzgeralds resulted in the Holy See suspending Blessed Thaddeus in 1488. He then went to Rome to personally defend his cause. After 2 years of investigations, Pope Innocent the Eighth confirmed Hugo's elevation to the See of Ross, but appointed Thaddeus bishop of the United Dioceses of Cork and Cloyne, which were then vacant. When the Blessed arrived in his diocese, he had the unpleasant surprise of finding the doors of his own cathedral closed to him, and the revenues of the see in the hands of the Fitzgeralds, the Barrys, and others. He tried in vain to assert his rights and to obtain, by peaceful means, recognition. When all proved futile, he decided to leave again for Rome and appeal to the Holy See. The Pope condemned the usurpers and gave the blessed man letters to the Earl of Kildare, who was then head of the government in Ireland, to the principal members of Matthew's own clan, and to other important personages. In them, the pontiff exhorted them to protect the blessed and to make the cause of justice triumph. Blessed Thaddeus set out on his return journey on foot. On October 24, 1497, he arrived in Ivrea at the foot of the Alps and stayed at the inn of the Canons Regular of St. Bernard of Montjoux. The next morning, he was found dead in his bed. The canons went through the dead man's luggage and found out who he was. They immediately communicated the news to the Bishop of Ivrea, who ordered that he be buried with the greatest solemnity. Soon the news of the death of the bishop, who traveled on foot and incognito as a humble pilgrim, spread, and the whole town attended the funeral in the cathedral. Pious people continued to visit the tomb, and thus began to spread the popular cult, favored by numerous miracles. Bishop Richelme of Ivrea and Bishop Callahan of Cork promoted the cause for the beatification of Thaddeus, whose cult was finally approved in 1895. His feast is celebrated in the dioceses of Ivrea, Ross, Cork, and Cloyne.